Ah, shit. This episode of the BRG podcast has been brought to you by our patrons. Here at BRG, we'd like to thank those patrons who have subscribed and donated. It is because of generosity like yours that makes this show possible.
On this episode of the podcast, Kirok's excited about a Switch taking a 1,000-foot fall and surviving. I'm a bit confused about why people are looking up the term porn on a porn site. And Ziploc Bob agrees with Trump about fake news. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the BRG podcast, where we bring you all of the most interesting, or at least mildly interesting, gaming news, tech news, and little other bits and tidbits and bites and whatnot of anything going on in the world, from tech to media to whatever we find fancy. And apparently a lot of you porn. I don't know. Anyways, I'm your host, Warp Jester, and my wonderful, my beautiful, and my beaver-loving co-host.
Hello, I'm Kirok. Hi. God.
And tonight we actually have a good bit of news, surprisingly, considering that usually gaming kind of shuts down its doors for news when it comes up on E3, which we are 2 weeks out from.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. But we do have some good news in there, both from the gaming front as well from the other front. So we'll be digging through that. We don't have much of a main topic tonight, so we'll be just doing the headlines here. We might be a little more lapped with some of them than others just because we have a little leeway. But we will try to keep it short and brief. We also do have, of course, our game releases tonight. And tonight is going to be a rant from our wonderful, our adorable Ziploc Bob. So stay tuned for that as well. So with that said, we'll go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, we're going to dive into the speedy bits, and we're going to start at the top with news from Nintendo, letting us know that the online Switch service is going to be delayed. So if you guys remember, we talked a little about this. An online service is going to have a lot of features, including streaming classic games. It was supposed to come out the end of this year. However, it's going to be pushed back to 2018. They didn't give a specific date, just 2018, so we'll see how it goes. They did give us a few nuggets of information. However, the paid service is going to be a tier service, 1 month for $3.99, 3 months for $7.99, and a year for $19.99. And again, you'll be able to stream a lot of classic games along with it, as well as the voice chat ability, which to that point, actually, voice chat ability, in case you missed that memo, is going to be through your mobile device. Not your Switch, which is a mobile device of sorts, but like your phone or your tablet. And the question has come up of, well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to listen to your game and still talk to your friends? And the answer comes in the form of the sneak peek at the new headset that is themed for Splatoon. And basically it's got a little, for lack of a better terminology, a dongle that's going to have basically two wires coming in, one from the Switch for your game audio, one from your mobile device for your chat audio, and then a cable up to the headset itself. It looks like a nightmare. Yeah. It looks like a friggin' nightmare of cables. I like having wireless stuff because I can't. Just having a regular headset on me is enough. Right. This just looks like a fucking kludge. But there it is.
Yeah.
Ironically, it looks like a damn squid.
Keeping on with the Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch, Polygon reports that the guys from there's a team on unlockriver.com, a YouTube channel, where they took a Nintendo Switch and hooked it up to a drone or a quadcopter, to be more accurate, and raised it up to 1,000 feet and remotely ejected or disconnected it and let it drop. So this Switch falls from 1,000 feet over a parking lot. So they didn't have any cars or anything in the parking lot. They did it in a nice, safe area. And I guess they just wanted to see what extreme damage the device could take. And the device hit pretty hard. One of the Joy-Con controllers got completely obliterated, but the rest of the unit survived. And on top of that, the unit continued to power on and work and was able to play games, which is pretty cool. But I know. I had to put it in there for the shock value, but at the same time, I'm in your camp. I'm like, But why? Like what?
One
why
controller got annihilated, and the Switch still
Yeah.
works. So that just tells me it fell on one of the controllers. The controller took the brunt of the force.
So it could have been whatever spot it fell on. It could have completely obliterated the whole thing. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a little stunt, but fun nonetheless.
Yeah, fun. These guys are destroying Switches, and as it turns out, Nintendo's actually having a hard time producing Switches. Most likely, it's actually Apple's fault, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Turns out that most of the modern mobile devices, from cell phones to tablets to the Switch, all use common components, namely LCDs and more commonly NAND memory. And to that end, there is a finite amount of places manufacturing the stuff, and it's kind of it's not even a first come first serve market. It's a who has the deepest pockets. And while Nintendo is a large company, Apple's a lot bigger. Well, namely their purse is a lot bigger than Nintendo, so it's kind of first come pay most. Pay most for get served first. So yeah, so Nintendo Switch is gonna have a little bit of a crunch time for at least a little while, as long as bigger companies want to monopolize the manufacturing plants. Sorry.
Shifting over to games more so. On a previous podcast, I had mentioned that Friday the 13th game was coming out. It's now out. It's been out for a little bit, about a week. And Rock Paper Shotgun has an article out on how it's having a hard time in terms of server issues. Now, by the time you watch this recording, they've probably already gone ahead. They were in the middle of taking care of the issues. But I personally was watching streamers play the game on both Mixer and Twitch, and watched streamers sit for about 30 minutes waiting for a matchmaking session. So those are the type of problems they've been having.
Oops.
They've been literally having trouble connecting to games or getting into a match based on when it tries to find who's available to play a game. Another thing I've seen is when streamers actually are in the game and they're playing, and all of a sudden one of the guys or one of the camp guys who want the goal is to survive, just magically pop out of game. Well, their character stays in, but they're no longer controlling the character. So it's had a bit of a plague in server issues, connectivity, staying connected, and getting put into matchmaking. But
they'll work it out in the end.
Hopefully, yeah, they're going to work it out. I mean, it's a new game. I bet they didn't expect it to be as popular as it is. It's actually a pretty popular game, especially for streamers.
Apparently.
And speaking of games and what's coming, and we've already mentioned that E3 is just around the corner. Polygon listed a list of events coming up for the week of E3. I'll kind of quickly go through them. June 10th is going to be Electronic Arts presentation at the Hollywood Palladium at 12 p.m. PDT. That's Pacific Daylight Time, I believe, right? Yeah, I believe it is. Daylight Time. June 11th is Microsoft at the Gallon Center at 2 p.m. PDT. ZeniMax, which is Bethesda, has their E3 showcase at Los Angeles Center Studio at 9 p.m. PDT. And then on June 12th, there are 3 computer games PCs, so it's in general computer games at the gaming show. Where is this? Oh, it's a PC gaming show at the theater at Ace Hotel, 10 a.m. PDT. Ubisoft will be at the Orpheum Theater at 1 p.m. PDT, and Sony PlayStation E3 Media Showcase is at the Shrine Auditorium. Shrine Auditorium. Yeah, I didn't put the time in there. I'm going to have to double check that, but that's on the 12th. So you have 3 different ones on the 12th. And the last one, 13, is Nintendo Spotlight, and the location is unspecified. It's supposed to be at 9 a.m. PDT. So I thought they were out, but apparently this is potentially them doing something.
A little bit confused on that, but okay.
Yeah, I know.
More power to them.
Yeah.
I know. Well, they might get their shit together, because it turns out that when it comes to gaming, or more importantly, game devs, apparently China is going to be taking center stage as the pinnacle of places to develop games at. It turns out, we talked about this a while ago, but in 2016, we witnessed a huge shift where game revenue had crossed the $100 billion mark, and this is U.S. dollars. And again, for perspective, that's 3 times the movies worldwide. So
Wow.
the game is a big deal. But this recent report talks about how of the top $24 million plus game devs, 11 of them are based out of China. Runner up to that is is Europe with, I think, 6 companies. So China has become a leader in game. I can think of, I can name like 10 I think it is. But I cannot for the life of me think of any other game dev names other than that. But apparently that is a place to be now. And another side note they had is in survey, apparently the Chinese populace are very loyal and devoted to their own games in terms of the vast majority of games they play tend to be the ones coming out of their own country. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Ubisoft, they actually have gaming developing places in Canada, Montreal. There's Ubisoft Montreal, but there's also in the US, obviously. But the reason I decided to speak about them is Polygon indicated that they've changed their logo. And this is the first time in 14 years that they've done so. So if you look at the link in the site, if you click, there's a link in there. There's actually a picture that pops up and shows the different years of the different logos. There's one logo in there which has that little rainbow arc. I remember that one back in the day. But the very first one from '86 is a hot pink logo, which is pretty, yeah.
It looks very 80s. It looks very 80s. And the
Do you remember it
1995.
though?
I don't remember that one. No.
I don't either.
The funny thing is, the 1995 one with the rainbow reminds me a lot of I want to say Activision. I think had a rainbow.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
their logo.
They have kind of like a chevron for the A or something like that. So that's why I think
It had rainbow in it. So I was like, I'm like, huh.
I'm
And
not a
this
fan
is-
of their newest one though. It's a little
It's very
very plain.
minimalist.
Yeah, very minimalist. They said it's monochromatic, modern, and minimalist.
Hey guys, I told you there's a lot of news. I didn't say it was good news. Like it's in quality. It's just
I had to bring it up because my background's graphic design. So hey, come on. I like that kind of stuff. So moving on, HTC promises less than 7 milliseconds latency in Intel's wireless Vive. This is coming from Upload VR. So a little while back, we talked about I think it's called TP. Oh my God, TP, not Link, TP. There's another third-party company that's building a wireless add-on.
yeah, there's a little add-on just on top.
Correct, that gives you wireless. This is something where HTC is partnering with Intel to come up with something as well, and they call it the WiGig, WIGIG.
Wireless gigabit connectivity.
I guess they're going to be displaying it actually in Los Angeles at E3, so there will be people out there who will be able to try it out. And they're using a 60 gigahertz band that promises pristine video quality along with minimal latency. Now, the latency must be there because that's going to make a big difference. Like that's going to be the deciding factor as to whether it makes people sick or not, right? But think about it. Wireless VR, it's all heading there. It's all going that way. So
we'll get there. And this is actually a good example of where the 60 megahertz range is actually really ideal because in situations like this, you're going to be in the same room as the receiver. You're not going to have walls in between you. When you get up to those kind of ranges, really great for high bandwidth practice. Really shitty for going through any object.
Yes, yeah.
So this is a great example of where this could be very useful.
Another interesting VR-related article, again from Upload VR, is that basically now what's happening is every new HTC Vive purchase comes with a free copy of Star Trek Bridge Crew. This is freaking awesome. When I bought my HTC Vive, it came with Job Simulator, Tilt Brush, and one more, which I don't remember at this point in time. But they announced it. It was actually a combination between Ubisoft and HTC, and they did it as a collaboration and announced it on Twitter, indicating that essentially when you're getting a brand new HTC Vive, you will be getting Star Trek Bridge Crew, which is freaking cool. Like the game is not cheap. It's like $60 or something like that. It's a full-fledged game, apparently.
I would love to play this. I gotta talk to
It's big
Sashi
on
and the girls over at Nexus and see about getting on theirs and join you so we can play this.
Okay, all right. There is a company called Striker VR now that is they're launching for pre-orders for a gun peripheral. So
And it
at
looks
this point in time,
badass.
it does look badass. At this point in time, the only one that I know that's on the market is the aim controller on the PSVR, which looks like a freaking Fisher-Price toy. Although I have a friend who's played with it and says it's actually really damn good. So props there.
Looks stupid.
But
works well.
It looks stupid. Yeah, it works well.
It's like an AMC Pacer.
That's what's on now. But this one from Striker, it looks incredibly sick. It looks almost like a P90. But they are taking pre-orders for this, and it is absurdly expensive. The device is expected to retail for $2,800 each.
What?
Dude.
Whoa.
It's
supposed... Time the fuck out.
I'm not kidding.
Does this thing have an orifice to suck my dick? Because if it doesn't, there is no hell. If it's going to fuck me in the ass, it better give me a reach around. And for that price tag, that is a deliberate fucking in the ass.
It's stupidly insane.
It ain't that pretty.
I'll take 5, please.
Jesus Christ.
Continuing on with some VR stuff, Microsoft shows off VR headsets from Asus and Dell, specifically Asus. So this is not new. There was mention about this in one of our earlier podcasts, how Microsoft is working with other developers or manufacturers to start making cheaper, more affordable versions of VR headsets. So the headsets look small, light, and in my opinion, they leave something a little to be desired. Like if you look at one of them, it's got two little dots. It looks weird.
It's rather strange looking.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
It's rather strange looking.
Yeah. But they're slated for holiday season release, essentially. Yeah, I mean,
no.
Honestly, I think it just remains to be seen. It's great that it's going to be cheaper, but I'm not even going to rush out to buy these. I don't care how cheap they are. I want to hear feedback. I want to hear reviews because I'm not going to sink that kind of money in something that it's not that it's a lot of money compared to the HTC Vive I bought, but I want to, like, you know what I'm saying? I want the quality for the money, right? And I know that I spent the money on the Vive and I got the quality I wanted out of it.
I agree with you. I'm looking at these. It's like we're getting past the looks part of it because I'm just not going to go there. I want a little bit of clarification here because these are independent manufacturers producing VR headsets in conjunction with Microsoft, who has only had a stake in the game of headsets for AR, being Microsoft's AR solution. Are these going to be like VR systems that will work with VR games and Steam and basically be interchangeable with Vive and Oculus?
This particular article doesn't actually specify that, but I believe that that's what they're aiming for. But see, what worries me is how are these things going to get positional tracking? Are they going to have gyroscopes built in? They're not going to have a tracking system that you have to put up on the walls or something like that. So that leads me to think, how accurate is this going to be?
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
if you start, and I think this is kind of inevitability, but if you start flooding the market with
lower
subpar
quality
tech that's labeled VR, you might put a bit of a taint on VR for a lot of people, and I'm really worried about that. I mean, I'm not trying to be protective or anything like that. It's just I don't want people to get put off and have VR once again pushed back because it went silly. I don't think this is going to be the case, but yeah, that made me worry because we don't. As of right now, there is no universal standard. You've got Oculus has got, well, at least released with, they had a single camera basically that looked at you and figured out where things were. You've got the Vive that's got multiple little
satellites,
or
lighthouses. They also
and then you've got Google's Daydream, which is basically utilizing the phone's internal gyroscopics and position to place itself. So there's a lot of different tech on the market right now, which has to happen, admittedly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that worries me a little bit.
I'm there with you.
All right. Well, hey, whatevs. Get away from gaming focus. We're gonna go ahead and switch gears here and talk a little bit about tech. Apple's reported to state started production on a Siri speakers. The idea of this is basically, think of it as Apple's version of the Amazon Puck kind of concept. Now, what exactly this is going to have in terms of its capacities, we won't know. There's speculation they'll be announcing this at the WWDC on June 5th. So we'll, of course, find out more if they do, in fact, talk about it. Don't get your hopes up, however, because from everything that's been reported, it will likely not be ready to ship for at least the later part of the year. And to be quite honest with you, and forgive me, everybody, I don't need the hate mail for it. When it comes to voice assistants, Siri is pretty much the worst one out there. Hands down, bar none. Amazon beats their pants off. Google beats their pants off. Microsoft beats their pants off. I mean, it's kind of sad. So I'll be curious to see if this signals that Apple's going to put a lot more force behind Siri to catch her up, because she was kind of the original the original girl, so to speak. Now she's kind of off in the corner drooling. Sorry. Anyways, I want to watch Kirok squirm for a little bit. I apologize. Moving on to media news. This makes me extremely happy. I am so giddy about this. I almost want to poop myself a little bit. Animaniacs is rumored to be in talks to be rebooted. Now, for anybody who doesn't know who Animaniacs are, go get yourself learned, because besides the fact that they are a fun-ass cartoon, they had a lot of brilliant spin-offs, little mini cartoons basically spun off into their own cartoons. And if you ever want to learn all the capitals to all the states, this is the best way to do it. Just go look up your Animaniacs capitals of the states, and you will find the YouTube video. I guarantee you, they are fantastic. And if I would love to see this kind of content come alive. As a matter of fact, I'll go so far as to say, content like this, Warner Bros. Content is kind of lagging behind Disney in a lot of ways. They would do well to actually partner with like Netflix to bring a lot more new content out with them. I'd love to see that. This is one of those things that they could definitely bring back, because all the people who grew up with Animaniacs, had fun with Animaniacs, are the people paying for Netflix service now. And so this is a great opportunity to cash in on that. And this would be the first of many things that should take advantage of it. So
that's pretty awesome.
I love it. I love it, and I want to see it. In other news, the other news category, literally, there are rumors of a Mario Kart themed ride at the inevitable Super Nintendo World theme park in Universal Studios. There is actually a trademark filed by Nintendo for Super Nintendo World, which is going to have the theme park in 3 locations. It's going to be in Osaka, Japan, Hollywood, California, and Orlando, Florida, which are the 3 locations of Universal Studios. And inside that document on NeoGAF, there was actually a line in there that's organization, management, and arrangement of kart racing.
Huh.
Fuck yeah! Make that shit happen. Because I am totally fucking down for that. Hands down, I'm telling you, man, could not be better. All right, guys, one more to round out the news here, and you'll love this one, because at this point, I'm pretty much in love with Pornhub because of the shit they've released, and I'm not talking about the actual porn. The stats they have, they've now released the most commonly misspelled search terms by state. Oh my dear God, it is great. Among the many repeated errors across the United States, the top ones are henty, Henti,
nice,
miffle, MIFL, which, dear fucking God, how do you misspell MILF? For the love of fucking Christ. And here's the best one. You go to a porn site, Pornhub, and in the search term you type in Porm. Okay, the M's next to the N, sure. But why do you go to a porn site and then search for porn? It's there.
You're there.
You have arrived. You are at your destination. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Oddly enough, there's no misspellings for fidget spinners. Anyways, that is going to wrap up the news for us tonight.
Okay, guys.
Welcome back once again for another video game releases with me, Kirok. There are some good ones in here, so let's get going. Okay, guys, this is a title I missed last week. Came out on June 2nd. The game Tekken 7. It's coming out for PC, PS4, Xbox One. It is a fighter. For those of you who follow this series, it's been around for quite a while. In this iteration of the game, they are boasting photorealistic graphics with innovative new fighting mechanics. This installment represents the final chapters in the 20-year-long Mishima feud. I haven't played a Tekken game since Tekken 3, which was back on the Dreamcast. Yikes. And on June 5th, we have Drifting Lands. This game is coming out for PC only. It is an action RPG shooter. You could say it's a side-scroller. Basically, it is a side-scrolling type space game where you fly around sideways and shoot different enemies in the screen. It's very highly polished. The graphics are amazing, and it's got an RPG element to it because as you play through the levels, you'll get new gear to power up your ships. This reminded me a lot of the classic 80s game called Defender. Yeah, only with a really big graphics update. And on June 6th, guys, we have Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind. This one, it's a PC game. It's an expansion to the existing Elder Scrolls Online series. It's an adventure MMORPG or massive multiplayer online role-playing game. I am so excited about this, I can't tell you. The game continues on in the line of the whole story of the Elder Scrolls, and the graphics are astonishing. I watched a few of the videos, and they are really amazing. I remember when Morrowind, the original game, came out back on PC and the very first Xbox, and it's a game that I really feel at heart I didn't give it a chance. This might be the opportunity for me to make that right. Okay, guys, also on June 6th, you have Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series. This is episode 2 called Under Pressure. It's coming out for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It is a space action adventure, choose your own adventure type game. It is the second in the series of the Guardian of the Galaxy heroes. It is episode 2, and I couldn't find any footage for episode 2, so you're looking at footage from episode 1. But you know what? The style that Telltale gives is always that choose your own action adventure type game. And I really love these. You know how I like them. I like or prefer watching them as opposed to playing them. And finally on June 6th, we have Wipeout Omega Collection. So this is coming out for PS4 only. It is a racer or futuristic racer if you get down to it. It is a combination of 3 Wipeout games, kind of remastered for the PS4. Wipeout HD, Wipeout HD Fury, and Wipeout 2048. All these games are being bumped up in resolution with textures. They include support for 4K and HDR for the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. I used to play this game way back, not these particular games, but the original on the PlayStation 1. It was a lot of fun and even gave you that little bit of motion feeling when you were making those jumps in the air. And finally for the week, guys, June 9th, we have Dirt 4. This is coming out for PC, PS4, Xbox One. It is a racing simulator game. Off-road racing. This is the 4th installment in the series, and they boast that it is the closest to the real thing in terms of a simulation as you can get. They also say that there's about over 50 different off-road cars, 5 real rally locations, so they're based on real locations in the world. And they also have a mode where there's a procedurally generated track, so you can like endlessly just keep on going, which is pretty cool, and you never know what the computer's going to throw at you. Okay, guys, that brings us to the end of another week of game releases. Thank you for joining me once more, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Hello everyone, I'm Ziploc Bob, and welcome to another edition of Bottle Rocket Rants. Today we are talking about fake news, hoaxes, and other bullshit rumors floating around the internet. While I am listing off some examples on how to spot these are pretty fucking obvious, at least to me, they might not be to everyone if they're a little bit newer to the game of, hey, E3's coming, what rumblings do we hear? But you can use these as examples of finding patterns of bullshit before you are unfortunate enough to step into it yourself. Remember 1, Half-Life 3. Listen, at this point in Half-Life 3 rumor mill, you'll probably know what's up. Somebody says something, that it's coming out, and everybody kind of goes, yeah, whatever, but we all play along with the joke. And if you are new to the game, here's the story. Back in the day, Valve put out Half-Life 1 and 2 and some episodic games that were really good, and everybody loved them, and we have been clamoring for a sequel for so long that every year, like an amnesiac, we forget all the hoaxes and rumors of the past year and assume that Valve is going to announce it this year and these rumors are true. And we've been doing this for over a fucking decade. And we get all hopeful again and then get let down horribly every fucking year. Treat the Half-Life 3 rumors at this point like copy pasta. Fun to read, but not to be taken seriously. So, Mr. President, do you have anything to say about that?
You are fake news.
Well, at least he isn't wrong. Rumor 2, fighting game rosters. This one is a little bit more difficult because it kind of depends on the game and everything else. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because for most fighting game franchises, they've had so many roster changes, additions, or even the potential for a change, it's really insane. The current one is, they're going to be X-Men in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. At this point, there are reasons that it could be true and it could not be true. The first reason why it could be true is that the Capcom and Marvel series has had at least a couple of X-Men in it every time. Big notable example is like Cyclops with Scott Summers because he's the leader and that's about it. And Wolverine because that fucker is marketable. But on a side note, and the reason why it probably won't happen is that Marvel has been moving away from X-Men due to 20th Century Fox owning the movie rights and the biggest cinematic pissing contest since Disney tried to kill off Betty Boop. So, all in all, this one is up in the air and is firmly more towards the it could go either way side of the rumor mill. But most of the posts involving this come from shit like 4chan. Don't get me wrong, but there has been leaks in the past that were true, that came from 4chan, but it's only 4chan, guys. You might want to realize you're getting news from a website that trolled Time Magazine, Apple, Mountain Dew, and eventually you if you're dumb enough to trust them. Rumor 3, fake screenshots. Remember when I was talking about 4chan like, 10 seconds ago? Well, there are plenty of screenshots for a new Smash Brothers game that have been proven fake, and all of them started on 4chan. Also faked leaked trailers for a new Assassin's Creed game. These people are assholes because they're taking their talents as photo editors, video editors, and could get a great job working for companies that they are spoofing shit from to fuck with you. Trailers and screenshots should only be trusted from actual companies. Otherwise, Mr. Trump,
You are fake news.
well, I've been Ziploc Bob, and remember, if something is on the internet and sounds too good to be true, it fucking is. Speaking of which, we do have a service here on BRG that is too good to be true, where you can be a member of Bottle Rocket Gaming by joining our website in the description below. And it is free. You can gain access for free to all sorts of gaming events and even post your own. So if you want to join any of the crew or any other gamers that are members and playing games, join today.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up for the evening. First off and foremost, Mr. Kirok, my friend.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm doing just fine and dandy. How have you been? What have you been doing this past week?
This past week, I've actually been streaming.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I'm streaming on Mixer. We talked about it not too long ago, but I'm now trying to fit into a schedule. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to fit into a schedule on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Usually late because I'll work late those days. But last week I was able to hit all those, and I plan to keep that momentum going. Right, so
awesome.
I'm having fun. I'm streaming again. The game I'm streaming this time is, or finishing it off, is The Last of Us.
Nice.
Trying to get that done. Can't wait. And other than that, you recall I mentioned that some friends and I are going to be doing podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
separately. We did our first successful recording test yesterday.
Okay.
So we got all the gear set up. We don't have our proper mics, but I'm using like a little digital recorder in the meantime to get something.
Okay.
And I figure in the next couple of weeks, we'll actually sit down and actually start doing some real recordings. But it's going to be like a bi-weekly thing. So we just sit and casually talk about games.
Awesome.
I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to that. I really am.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is I've actually posted some content on my YouTube channel.
Amazing.
It's not game related, though. That's the thing.
Not so amazing.
No, 2 weekends. No, it was last Saturday. My brother and I went to an ALS walk. We do it yearly, and we went, did our thing. A few hours. We do I think it's like a 6-kilometer walk. Everyone goes, participates, has fun. It's a nice day out in a park. It actually was a beautiful day, a little bit cloudy, but it didn't rain. And they raised about $100,000 to fight that disease, which was cool.
Awesome.
So we donated some money, and yeah, it was great. So that video is kind of like a quick little 20-minute long, shows you all the different things that we did, him and I, and plus everyone else. So it's a lot of fun.
Good deal, man. I love seeing people get out and do things like that because it really does help. And quite frankly, with funding constantly getting cut by governments, having funding from the populace to help out is a huge deal. And I encourage everybody to look into, if not this particular disease, something that does hit up close to home, it really does help. Even if it's $1 from you, it's $1 from you, and letting somebody else know so that they can give $1, and it adds up real quick.
Yeah.
So, anything going on with Project Singularity?
Project Singularity had a game day today, and I said game day, not game night. So that was 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I was at work, so I couldn't attend.
So everybody showed up and played.
I have no idea. I haven't heard anything from the guys. I know at least one person who.
Do you play on Project Singularity? Hold on. So let me check members here real quick because I'm curious. I don't see your name here anymore. Are you even on there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Roulette. Okay. Oh yeah, I just want to make sure because I'm starting to worry a little bit. Wait a minute. I see a Twitch logo under your name.
Yes. Oh, I know. I have to update that. I'm gonna switch that out. I'm gonna mix that up actually.
God.
And there was one other thing I just thought of, and now it came out of my head, so I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh well.
Sounds painful.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you can keep up with Kirok on his Twitter's account, so he'll let you know when he's doing things like, streaming on not
Mixer,
Twitch.
That's right.
I myself, guys, I've actually been gaming a little more lately. Strangely enough, the what I've been doing is actually been a lot of mobile gaming. Actually, it's a game called Hyper Heroes on mobile, and it's a RPG style game. But usually with RPGs, you've got your characters across the bottom, the mobs across the top or side or whatever, and you have little grid counts, and you can move up and hit them and whatnot. Instead, this is like Marble Madness meets RPG. You actually shoot your warriors at people, and the way they work, some of them bounce off mobs, some go through mobs, etc. It's been a really fun game. It has a lot of diversity, a lot of different things you can do with it. It's been very, very fun. It's a free to play game that has micropayment inside of it. I've dropped $2 for a little pack they had for extra diamonds, which is one of the kind of the core currency you can convert real money into. So I've been really enjoying that, and I have toyed with the idea of trying out YouTube's ability to stream mobile gaming and just dink around with it for a little bit. So I might do that at some point. And then just recently, Cosmic got me into doing Heroes of the Storm, which is my first MOBA experience. So
how is it? Is it good? Because I got friends who are telling me to try it.
I'm getting used to it.
Okay.
It's interesting because it's not only is it me getting into playing a game I haven't played before, Heroes of the Storm, but it's a genre that I really haven't played before. And it's not like RTS. It's not like an MMO. It's not like anything I've really played. So getting used to how the game works, the keyboard keying and whatnot, it's been challenging. I'll be honest with you. Him, and my wife all started playing it. All we've been doing is this versus AI to get used to the game. And the first couple of times we played, wasn't real hip on it. Was really lost how things work. Wasn't catching the mechanics of it. It's kind of stumbling through it on my own without reading up in any way or getting a kind of tutorial. It was kind of rough getting going. But just last night, me and Cosmic played a couple of rounds, and I picked a character, melee class character, and just, screw it. I'm going to stick with this character. I'm going to just get used to it so I can start learning the maps. And we started playing, kind of getting the feel for it. And I'm starting to enjoy it. So we'll see where that goes. Okay. Cool. I know RG and VSD play it avidly, so we're going to hook up with them sometimes. We can play with them. And we'll see how it plays out. And if I end up having time to keep playing it on and off, I might do some recording with it and throw up on my channel. So we'll see how that goes. So that's the gaming front. I've got a whole bunch of new content I've got to get edited for my mobile moto vlog. People are just all kinds of dumb. Even on my easy commute home with minimal issues, there's still a lot of dumb out there. I've got an arsenal of clips I'm going to put together for just one thing, which is, hey, here's a blind turn. Let me go ahead and cut over the yellow line into the blind turn. And people are doing it right in front of me as I'm coming towards them and while I'm behind them. And it's just like, so I'm going to get all those clips put together, start putting some more clips up. I still have some more moto vlogs that are going to be coming out where I talk about different topics. And they could be bike related, they could be game related, they can be just life related. I'm going to try to pick things I'm interested about and just kind of jabber while I'm taking some scenic roads. And, of course, I've got more ride videos as well, which are just a nice, quiet, enjoy the ride, mute the audio, and put on some music kind of thing. So I'm going to enjoy those. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and give a little kiss and a bit of love to BRG Group because I do love these guys. I've had immense fun with them. Ziploc Bob has stepped up to be a new position in BRG to help out with media and connecting people. So we're starting to talk with new people, and whatnot. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping we can get some new people on here pretty soon, from Bob. But really, really good bunch of people. If you ever want to hang out with people who are just into gaming, have a lot of fun, creative, intelligent, modest people like myself, definitely head on over to BRGgaming.com and check them out because they're a bunch of wonderful people. And of course, you can always head over to our wonderful YouTube channel. That's where you can find this at. And we do have a bunch of other content as well. One change I'm going to be doing to the format of the podcast is I oftentimes would tack on some of the better kind of outtakes and in between show segment recordings I do on the end of the podcast. I'm actually going to break those off and do what I did this week, which is actually have them as a separate little clip episode that you can go enjoy. So the last episode we had with the Gaming Frontier, the podcast was too long. I couldn't put any of it in, so I went ahead and just made its own episode. So you can actually catch up on the last episode with Game Frontier, which I encourage you to do if you haven't. We had a really good time and really good topics with them.
They were a blast.
Yeah, they were great to have, and guys, we want to have you back for certain. We also have an additional little clips episode or outtakes episode where we show the screw ups and the funny in between, which is probably more funny than the podcast itself, to be honest. Anyways, so definitely check that out. And, of course, if you guys have the ability to, we certainly do love and appreciate you checking out our Twitch channel. We're not really doing a lot with it just yet, but we hope to do more with it in the future. But just go ahead and head on over there and follow. And you can pick up on when we go live and do stuff. And, of course, our channel does also follow other people within the BRG community. So if you go to that one channel, you can pick up all the other BRGers, check them out when they're streaming, and go from there. So definitely check that out. Next week, guys, we are going to be getting into E3 mode. So we're going to have a E3 announcement.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas in June. We're gonna be doing an E3 predictions, announcements and predictions episode. So we'll be gathering together all of the news we've heard about coming up to E3 of what's potentially going to be announced, and do some speculative conversation about what we think is going to be there, what isn't going to be there, etc. So look forward to that. I don't have anybody lined up just yet. Hopefully some BRGs might want to join us for that. It'd be really fun. And we'll kind of give a guess of what's going to be happening for E3. So I believe that'd be really, really, really fun. Hey, listen, guys. We would love to get your help, and there's a lot of ways you can help. We've said this before, so just really quickly, there are positions open with BRG. So if you're looking for a group to not only be a part of in terms of hanging out and playing games, if you actually want to do some stuff, you're welcome to join the BRG group. We have a bunch of people that can certainly use an extra pair of hands for doing different things, from marketing to art to whatever you can think of. We probably have a position open for you if you're willing to put a little time in and want to just help out. We always welcome that. You can also help us out by giving us a little bit of a shout out. If you're on Facebook, on Twitter, on whatever, feel free to shout out and just, hey, point people to our website, point people to our YouTube channel, point people to Twitter, whatever. We appreciate that. It really does help us out a lot, and I want to keep us moving forward. We're having a lot of fun doing this, and it's always great to have more people that can give us feedback and basically talk at us. We appreciate that. And of course, as always, if you'd like to pitch a few dollars our way, we do have a Patreon account, and we have everything from $1 all the way up to $50 for different types of reward levels, and that really does help us out. All of that money goes back into the community so we can buy everybody rounds of hookers and blow. Anyways, guys, thank you so much, and you have yourselves a good night. I'm getting the fark out of here.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.